right, we're good to go. It should be going green sometime soon, I think.
And there we are. We're live. Look at that. Beautiful. It works. Me here, you here. Very much welcome to that beautiful live podcast. Finally, back here. Nothing last week. We're getting into that in a second. But it's beautiful. We're here. And it's episode 250. And I hope we're going to have a good time here together tonight.
We
And I
probably
also
will.
want to say directly, without no further ado, hello, Daniel Mininalu. Hope you're fine. We're going to talk a bit as well here. And as always, I'm not alone, sitting here in the beautiful Stockholm, Sweden. And finally, I see some signs of spring. And it's been a bit warmer today and also yesterday. I'm so happy about that. But the question goes, of course, to my fellow, and I'll do this again, down below. How is he doing? How are you doing, my friend?
I think I'm going to start with a disclaimer first before anything else. And the disclaimer goes like this. Anyone who came in here because of the thumbnail or the title of this episode of the podcast, please note that we will be talking about other stuff first before we get to that. So if you came in and you saw the thumbnail somewhere on YouTube and you read the title and was like, oh, I came here for this, you just wait a bit. But other than that, I am recovering. I'm in recovery of a flu. I'm currently sick right now. I don't look it. I don't know if you can tell if I can tell. I look at myself. I can tell I feel sick, but I'm constantly sneezing. I've got a lot of phlegm. My throat scratches.
Typical.
I feel fatigued. And yeah, I am fighting the flu. But I will get there somehow. My brother has invited me to go cycling with him yesterday, and I have not responded. And I believe he's worried about me. Because usually when he invites me to go cycling, I'm like, yep, I'm down, pace. And I was like, look, my bike is not working. It's in parts, which is true. My bike is in parts, but also I just don't feel fit enough to go out there and cycle with my brother. He's intense. He's amazing, and I am not right now in my peak form to be able to do that. No. So it's not even like I wouldn't go cycling. I just won't go cycling with him, basically, because.
But it's a time for everything, bro. As we said before we started, I mean, I'm getting to that also, like last week, what happened, blah, blah, blah. And, sometimes you just have to call it a day. And I think it's good. You got to take it easy now. You got to get better. And then you can get back on that bike and ride it.
Yeah. I just don't want to slow him down. He's a good cyclist. And if I go with him and I'm not in peak shape, I'm going to be moving slow and he's going to be having... Because I know what it's like when I go cycling with Alex, for example. She's slow. And I feel like I am hampered because I can't go at my max speed, and it's not the same when you can't really push yourself.
No, if it's that kind of cycling, then definitely, then it's gonna be something else. If you just are out, like chilling, whistling a bit, looking at birds and trees and people, that's another thing.
Yeah, we don't do that.
No, of course, I understand totally what's going on between you two when you're out there. Also, what do you say? What do you say now? How dare you wrong pass it to Q? Yeah, I just did that, didn't I? But also, hello, Miss A&R. I hope you're fine. I hope you're fine. I hope you're not like Q, meaning having a cold or a flu or something.
She's sick as well.
Might sound a bit like nasal in a way. I don't get it. I often get like I'm feeling fine right now. It's nothing wrong, but usually during the evenings nowadays, I tend to get like my very stuffed nose. I think have become more sensitive because Nala wrote like too dang windy, and it's been very windy here. And since I do take a lot of walks, it tends to like, I don't know, I get very in the evenings like. Do you
still?
Like
I had stuffy nose last night, but it's cleared up. Do you still take that thing that we spoke about? This let's see if I have one. The nasal spray thing.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. I think like it's not in here because I know Alex had one in here, but I don't know what it is. But essentially,
Alex, I hear 1,000 reasons to avoid going. Yeah. Well, look at that.
I contemplated taking one last night, like spraying it last night, but then I was like, I can, you sometimes you're just like, nah, I could do this. I don't need to take this.
Yes. And then you wake up and you can't breathe or something, or what happened?
For me, it cleared up after a while. I was up playing God of War.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Because it's whatever. But I hope you guys are. I hope you guys gonna recover. What do you say? Yeah, you are recovering.
Yeah, I'm on demand.
Good. Sounds good. How are the boys, by the way?
Ty is always sick. Yeah, I think he's perpetually sick. I think he suffers from perpetual sickness because he's always he's always coughing or snorting or. To be honest, actually, strange enough, I don't think I heard him cough today. So maybe he's cured and the rest of us have gotten it. I don't know.
Could be. Different phases. Usually that happens within the family. One gets it first, and then the second, and you know, so on. Yeah.
Zavi claims he's not sick, even though he claims he's not sick because, despite the fact that his nose is runny, and the other thing too is that he claims he's not sick. Keeping in mind, the other day I saw him coming from school and he's wearing a thin shirt, like a dress shirt with nothing underneath it. And he's just walking up. I'm like,
a bit too early.
Where's your coat, mate? And he's like, no, I'm not hot. I was exercising in school. I'm fine. And I was like, everyone in the house saw him and I was like, dude, where's your coat, mate? It's cold outside. Yeah. He's like, I'm fine. I'm good like this. And then the next morning, same thing. Excuse me. Right. Ooh. Wow, that gas is coming back up. Same thing. Next morning, same thing. So I don't know.
Yeah, but it's typical when younger people tend to do that. It's like,
you know the weirdest thing, I think I was talking to my sister about this. Like talking about like young girls going to school and wearing short skirts and going out there in the cold, and you're just like, how are they doing that? Like how?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
How are they not freezing? Right?
True.
And they're walking like, la-di-da-di-da, this is normal. Yeah. And I'm just like, no, it's not. You are freezing. You have to be freezing. That's the normal reaction to cold. Your body freezes. But
exactly.
Don't get it, don't get it. Y'all English girls don't have. I think they're built with body warmers or something. They're like whales. They have built-in blubber or something because they don't feel cold in their legs. They just got in short skirts.
It's interesting this. I mean, as I told you, I grew up in the north part of Sweden. It's like decent winters, real winters. Like it could be cold at the same time. Quite dry, not as humid as down here. I've talked about that before. But I mean, I have a sister that is 5 years older than me. And I remember it was like, she always had too little, like when it comes to clothes, especially not a hat because, that could ruin her hair that she had been fixing, before going to school. I was like, put it on. No, I'm not. She was standing there freezing, waiting for the bus. I'm like,
I honestly think it's style over function because I remember as you brought that up, it brought back a memory. And when I was working in Oxford, I remember I had a colleague. We were going to this fashion thing. I think we spoke about this in the podcast. I was going to Fashion Week, and we're going to Fashion Week, and I'm dressed. I've got jeans on, I've got boots, I've got my big coat on and a scarf and everything, gloves, the whole 9 yards. And she's like, she's all fixated about what she's gonna wear. So like the entire day in the office, she's constantly like going through different clothing. She's having clothes delivered to the office. She's going it over with the other female colleagues in the office, like, should I wear this and that? So and then it's time to leave, and she's got this skirt on with these high boots. And I don't think she had a coat on. I can't remember what she had on. But I looked at her and I was like, aren't you going to be cold? And she's like, no, I'm fine. Don't worry. We'll just hop in the taxi. It'll take us to the train station and we'll be fine. And we get to the train station and we're waiting on the platform. And she's there and she's like, and I'm like,
yeah, she's freezing.
I'm like, you're freezing. I was like, you are free. I was like, and there was a moment in my head where I was like, let her suffocate you. And then there's the other, like, you should be a gentleman.
So offered your coat or something.
I offered my coat, but it took a while to, like, I really processed that. Like, I was just like, oh my God, I told her before we left the office, grab your coat. And she's like, no, like, I'm fine. I'm not going to be freezing. But then I'm watching her freezing there and I'm like, okay, like, I'm probably... I'd probably look like a really bad guy if I didn't at least make the offer. I hope that she said no, which she did. She said no. I didn't even follow up. Normally when you offer someone, do you want to borrow my coat? And they say no, of course. No, you have to take it. And you start taking it off. I was like, do you want to borrow my coat? And she was like, no. I was like, okay. I was like, you said no. Okay. You can never say I didn't offer. Boom. That was it.
Exactly. Done. Over with. Yeah. But what you say now, your younger brother did the same. Yeah, I might have had a moment or two also, especially when I became more like maybe what maybe between 15, 20 or something like that, when I was a bit like, okay, I'm not going to have a hat. I fix my hair. I have this and that, more stylish, if you will. But never like more. Even so, I think function over, over one in a way, because I don't know. I was whatever, but it is what it is. Yeah. Yeah, but it's good to have good clothes on, especially if you're out there. And that was one of the reasons. If I can go through my week briefly.
Go for
What
it.
happened last week? We were supposed to podcast, and well, apparently we didn't. And this time around, it was a thing that happened to me. I got ill actually. We had a nice. First off, I want to give Nalu here a bit of a shout out because it was fun. You joined in on the stream last Tuesday. Thank you very much, and also did a very spontaneous thing because me and Crazy, this is a bit gamey, but I have to say it. Me and Crazy was playing a game called Zombieville 3D USA, which is a fairly new game. Like it was a top view shooter, and one guy made it, and it's out there. Fun collab game. I played some of the former ones, but that was 2D, the old style 2D game. So now they're like, oh, I can come in and play. Oh, yeah, sure. So you got the game now, and then you realize because the game is so new, and we were not able to play co-op because, I mean, Nalu is in the US and we are in Sweden. So Nalu changed. It's quite funny. Nalu actually changed his Steam into Stockholm, Sweden.
Really?
So we were able to play. We had a good time. So again, thank you, Fun. It's going to be back on Sunday if you want to join in. But the thing is that you also realized, I guess, that it's going to be 3 months until you can, because this is Steam regulations, and I'm getting back to Steam in a moment when it comes to my week. Steam regulations, you can't change back until after 3 months. You might have a bit of a slow download now if you're going to download a game or two. Yeah, hope you come in again. So I just wanted to say that. So that was Tuesday evening after the stream, as I sometimes do when you and I have had our podcast here on Wednesday. But yeah. I took a walk, and I usually do that, but it was cold. I was quite well dressed, but I saw a neighbor that I haven't been talking with for some time. So I was standing there for like 35 minutes, and you know how you start to feel that I don't feel great. Like I don't feel great. My feet are very cold. That's not a good sign for me, at least. I'm freezing my feet. Maybe I should go in. I did that. I went to bed. I woke up during the night and I had a sore throat. And I was like, come on, no. So Wednesday, I got fever in the afternoon. And then I realized I had no energy. I was like, oh, shit, I can't podcast today. Hopefully we can do it on Thursday. But I was still not great on Thursday. So I took time. I was smart enough to actually slow down with work also, as we were speaking before the podcast. So I did recover. I was better in the evening on Thursday, like late evening, sitting by the TV, watching something with Anna. Yeah, it was actually sports. It was like a pole vault competition. You know, the Swedish-American pole vault guy, Mondo. He's like the best athlete at the moment in the world. He had his own like competition here in Uppsala outside of Stockholm. Anyhow, we're watching that. Got a message on the phone like, oh, look at that. This is Steam friend. Okay, what is he saying? I think your account is hacked. I was like, what? So I went down to my computer, turned it on, went into my Steam, couldn't really see anything until I started to look a bit more carefully. And I realized, hell yeah, my Steam account is hacked. Because this is the thing, and I want to say this. I've talked about this. For those of you that want to read more about it, I put some stuff in my Discord. I got, that must have been Wednesday, an invitation from a friend on Steam that I know. I mean, I've been playing with the guy. An invitation when it comes to playtest. And I have joined these before. Yeah, exactly. Hold on. Exactly. Yeah.
I got that from you.
Exactly. Yes.
I didn't click it.
Good. This is the thing. It was a playtest called Strand. And I am usually very, very carefully when it comes to links. You should click links at all. And the thing is, because every other week, I've said this before in the podcast too, I get attacked by it could be friend requests that are not of a good nature, or through like my mail when it comes to my YouTube channel. But I can spot this. I have a good radar when it comes to these things. But this morning, Wednesday morning, again, I was ill. Remember, I wasn't like normal either. I saw, oh, look at, I'm great. Oh, I wonder how this guy's doing. I checked first, is this a real game? I went onto Steam. Yes, it's a playtest. Okay. I clicked the link, and this is where my oldest son, Adam, said, come on, Dad, you got to show you got to check the URL. I mean, if you did that, you would see that it was not Steam.
Yeah.
That's basically it. So stupid me, with all the experience I have with this shit, I clicked and I logged in, and at that point, my backbone said, "Get out. This is not good." I logged out, but it was too late. So yeah, back to Thursday evening. I logged in. Well, I wasn't logged in. I have Steam Guard and everything. The thing though is that this phone, I overtook this phone from my wife a couple of months ago. I reinstalled like all the apps I need, including the Steam, like the Steam Guard. And I was so sure that also like, or Steam, the Steam app. I wasn't sure that Steam Guard kind of was activated already. But then I saw that, what the frack? It's still on my older phone. I had to move over the Steam Guard. So maybe that didn't matter that much this time around, because the damage was already done when I logged into that on that freaking link. And of course, yeah, so what happened is I got things right. I activated Steam Guard again on my phone. And then I went to, and this is important. I hope you guys know that you can check devices, what kind of devices that have access to your Steam in this case. And I checked, I saw mine. I saw my PC. You can check with your Windows. Oh, that's correct numbers. Great.
Let me check now.
I saw my phone just also reconnected again with my Steam Guard. But then there was a third thing. I clicked on it to see it was from Moscow, Russia. Yes.
Vladimir Putin was playing games on your Steam account.
So I deactivated him, kicked him out, changed my password. It was solved. It was solved because Adam, he did some research. He said, this is something that is partly new, and it has, hit a lot of people. They go in like 48 hours, go into it's not for your PC, it's for your Steam account, your inventory. They took almost all my CSGO cases, my weapon skins, everything. Because what they did is they traded those over to 3 other accounts. And of course I can see the history, and I am now because a few years ago Steam could, they could help you, so to speak, bringing them back even into your inventory. I have actually experienced that myself many years ago. But they don't do that any longer because they invented and put Steam Guard onto Steam. So now it's up to you, your responsibility to have everything in check and never click on stupid links, okay? Which makes sense. And the reason why they stopped helping like that is because people were using it in the wrong way. They tried to gain something, so they were lying to Steam and everything. Okay, so with that said, what they do, they recommend to, of course, how do you say? I went to the profiles. I went into the profiles, the 3 accounts, and I reported them. So that's basically what I did. I will not get those skins and everything back at all. I know that, and I'm not too sad about it, but of course it's some money actually. And I don't know what Steam will do, if they will like let me know that they do something against these accounts. But in a few seconds I was thinking maybe 1 out of these 3 are innocent. Maybe they don't understand that it's coming from like,
maybe they bought it from like they transferred it to, and they said, oh, you pay, maybe they bought it from someone and they just
but it came directly from my account.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe they bought it on some other website, like paid that into someone's account, and then they just transferred it from your account to theirs.
Maybe not, but
maybe not. Yeah.
But either way, I'm reporting, and it's up to Steam. So yeah, I mean, I'm glad I got it back. Well, I never really had my Steam account, like, it wasn't like a loss, but it was invaded, if you want to call it like that. And unfortunately, SQ, his live reaction here is, of course, that the link I got and I clicked, well, what do they do then? Well, they spread it further. So then when they have control over my account, they send invites to the same playtest to many friends. I have 2-3 other Steam friends that got infected because of me, if that makes sense, because I clicked on the link and my account got hacked. So what is my bottom line is this was Thursday. I was late Thursday. I gave a shout out to my friend that actually notified me. And why did he do that? Because he was also infected or overtaken or hacked, if you will. So luckily I saw it late. I was like finished with this around 1 a.m. or something. And then I went to bed. Friday was still like, oh, I'm not feeling great, but I'm much better. Good. Hopefully, yeah, the weekend's going to be fine. Then I saw that someone was, this probably don't have to do with anything, but I got a saying from Instagram saying that, well, someone tried to change your login, like the password on Instagram. So I needed to go and look into that too. No problem. It's all good, but it's kind of typical, isn't it? And then on Saturday, because I lost time, like I needed to get a video up, for example, and then our internet in a big part of this area where we live went down at 12, like noon Saturday. And I was like, are you kidding me? And I thought, okay, maybe 1 hour. That's usually what happens, if it happens. We quite have stable connection and everything. But it didn't happen. It was gone for like 12 hours. And we have a social group, like the people living here, which is good on Facebook, like a Facebook group. So what's going on? I don't know. Have you heard anything? So I couldn't do shit. Well, I could, of course, offline. I finished the video, for example, did the editing, did the commentary, everything was set, those kind of things. But man, oh man. So well, Sunday morning, it was back. I was like, yeah. And then it went away again an hour later. And then it came back. And then I got a mail from the provider saying, okay, now everything should be fine. I still don't know what really happened, because usually when something goes wrong technical wise, you can see on your router, for example, that you have like a red, it looks red on one of the lights when it comes to the actual connect. There was nothing like that. So I still don't know what happened. But that was my week. That was my sick hacker, no internet ending of the week, which was I was quite stressed. I'm not going to lie. It was a bit too much. But yeah, after rain comes sunshine. So after that, it's been better. But I'm glad that UQ did not click on that stupid freaking fracking link.
I'll be honest, I almost did. I was just...
Yeah, I understand that.
I was just too... Like, when it came in, I think I saw the link, and I was like, yeah, that game doesn't look interesting to me. I was just like... and I was like... Good. I said to myself, I was like, you know what? If it is that you really want me to play it with you, you'll probably message me somewhere. And that was the other thing too that made it kind of click for me, was also the fact that you hadn't messaged me. Usually you don't send me stuff on Steam itself directly. You would send me a message on Discord and say, hey, there's this game, you should check it out. And then you send me something. So that made me just sort of like, it's probably not that important, or it's an error or something, because yeah, we hadn't spoken about that. We just didn't.
We haven't. Because I've been so freaking busy with it. Yeah, you're here. The whole ending of the weekend was just pretty insane in many ways. But yeah, here we are. So it's over now. I hope it's not gonna happen again. And guys, my saying again is be very careful, because nowadays, even though you have these kind of verifications and like feel safe about things, don't just... They are so good at what they do that if you click a link, that could be enough. Especially, of course, if you use your password. But yeah, it's easy. It's very slick done. I couldn't tell the difference. The only difference I would have seen compared to like a real website from Steam would have been if I actually checked the URL. And this time around, I didn't do that, and that kind of caused me problems. So there you go. We can leave that shit now, but I wanted to share it with you because it was quite a hassle.
That is, I believe that there's a web. You know they talk about the dark web, right? In my mind of minds, I believe there's a certain section on the dark web it's where it's just called the Roger section. They just specifically target you because they're always after you. They are always
but it's true.
after you.
It's true. I know that one of my addresses at least has been on the dark web. I've checked it out.
Wow.
Actually. Yeah. One of my mail addresses.
They're after you, man.
But also think like this, especially when it comes to my main channel, because I mean, I've been on YouTube for a very long time, and even though I'm not like a big YouTuber, my channel does, it
does well. It does well.
It does pretty okay. Yes, it does. And with that comes also the spam and the scams and everything that I've gone through too. I mean, over my 13 years on YouTube, my channel has been overtaken 3 times. It's been 3 times, and it's just it's not a pleasant thing.
It definitely, I can imagine. The thing is, Alex is mentioning something in the chat that I forgot. I just remembered. We went out. I can't remember when it was. About a week or two ago, we went to a cafe in town because we were running errands in town, and we went to the bank. I think we were opening a joint account or something to do something, and we leave the bank. And then we didn't open the account, and they told us something about coming schedule or whatever. I mean, I was just like, we're not staying here that long. Like, we've got other errands we want to run. I was like, screw it, we'll come back another day. And we leave the bank, and we go to this coffee shop that's not too far from where the bank is. But by that point in time, the bank would have been closing, and Alex gets this phone call, and the thing is, I look at her phone, and it shows. But when the phone started ringing, I could see it said unknown number or some kind of thing like that. And then so it's rang, she's picked up the phone, she's talking on the phone, and I'm looking at her, I'm like, who are you talking to? And she's like, oh, it's the bank, it's my bank. And I'm like, it's not an unknown number. And she's like, yeah, but they've said all this information that's like true and all this sort of, they've got all this information, like they're not asking me for anything. I was like, Alex, they could be fishing for stuff, they could be using your line for whatever. Get off that call, hang up. And she's there like, huh, what? But I'm like, hang the call up. Inevitably, she hung up. And then we went to her bank across the street because they had just closed. And I knocked on the door, and the guy was like, because he's going home. We're knocking the door. I was like, So he comes over because he can't hear us from the other side of the door. He comes over, and I'm like, so we just got a call from the bank. It's an unknown number. Is that actually the bank? And because I already knew the answer was no. He said, no, that's scam. And I was like, I told you so. I told you it was scam, Alex.
Yeah.
So
no, but there you go. Yeah, that's it's a good, but of course also horrible example in so many ways. A good example, but horrible experience, because there you go. This is all over in the society right now in so many levels. It could be through the internet, it could be through phone calls, and of course also a lot of older people getting like tricked, and it's terrible. But at least you got it right. I see you're writing here also, Ms. A&R, what happens regarding the scammers. You had like they confirmed your email, phone number. Yeah, talked about fraudulent transaction from a different city. Yeah, there you go. You see, it's
they were recording your call, taking your voice using AI, so they could call your bank later and say, I am her. And because you know that's how it works. They just they've got to be doing something, because we've had bank cards come to the house for her that she never opened. Seriously, I remember one time a card came in. This was when she was abroad, and I'm like, I took the card, I just put it in the room, and then I think I forgot about it. And I think maybe a week or two later, I'm like, by the way, Alex, that card that you I'm thinking, what card? I'm like, there's a bank card here for you from, I don't know who it was. And she's like, I didn't open an account with no bank. I was like, so what's going on here?
Wow, okay.
So, and she's had it happen to her in the US as well, because remember, she's a US citizen as well. So she's had it happen to her here, and then found out that someone opened an account in her name in the US. That one was a bit it was interesting. I won't tell that story, but that's for her to tell. But generally speaking, she's like you. She's on they've got a subsection for her, and there's one for you on the dark web.
Exactly.
So
welcome to the dark side of the force. It's a bit.
It's a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing. So be careful out there, guys. But with that said, I mean, your week, how has it been? It's been a flu week? Or,
I've had, similar to you, I've had up and down, I think was it weekend before or last weekend, Eric and I went to this food truck thing on a Thursday. I think this would have been just after podcast, the day after. And we went to a food truck near the uni and found a really nice cafe there. And I was like, oh my God, I've been looking for a nice cafe near where I live. I could just go and sit on my laptop and get some work done and all this sort of stuff. And so I'm like, I'm coming back here tomorrow. Like, this is going to be my spot. And, excuse me, I think it was that same day, the day Alex and I went to where she got the scam call and all that kind of stuff. Right. On that same day, she had, this would have been the 8th of March, I think. She had essentially, what's the word for it? We went to an arcade, like a arcade where you put coins in and you play whack-a-mole and pool.
Really?
Yeah. So we went and we played some pool. We did Dance Dance Revolution. We did a few things, right? And honestly, the only reason we went to that arcade, I was just happening to walk through a mall with Alex for something because she was not called. And while we were walking through that mall, I literally just saw the arcade and I was like, ooh, I want to check this out. But I had no intention to spend any money there. I was like, let's just go check it out, see what it does, and then we can leave. But she was like, oh, please, let's just play this basketball game. Please, let me get you play. And I was like, fine, we'll just do one. Just one, right? And then
all right,
one led to us playing pool, which she was winning the whole time. I don't know what Alex does in her spare time when she's not home. She's secretly going and practice at pool. But she was dominating for quite a while. And then I came back and I won the match. But, you know, I was lucky. I was so lucky because I had no chance in that match. I should have lost. But then, yeah, we when we finished, we got back home and my laptop wasn't working. The screen wouldn't come on.
Oh, no.
I was dead.
No.
I couldn't get it to post, nothing. And I did some research, looked into it. I took it to the Apple store the next day. They looked at it. They said, oh, it needs a new screen. I was like, God, jeez. I got to try out the Apple VR headset thing. You know, that was cool. That was so cool. Like, when I put it on and there was a dinosaur in there. It was coming up to my face. And I was like, ooh. And then they showed the sports stuff. Like, you could watch sports in VR. And I was like, this is it. Like, it was a football game and you were behind the ball and you could see the ball flying and you're like, yes, mate. So that was cool. It was really cool. I can see that as a great application for VR. Like, I can see myself sitting down on a Saturday, you know, in the stadium with a nice beer in hand, watching the game, you know, cheering for my team. Come on, get in. You know, so really, that was so cool. And then after all that, my laptop's dead. So I was able to get it repaired. I dropped it off to the repair place. They told me Monday or Tuesday. I called them Tuesday. It's not done. They've not done it. They're like, well, you know, our technician wasn't in and the part came in late. And so we can't do it. Blah, blah, blah. You're going to get it on Wednesday, but we'll offer you some compensation. I got to pick it up today. Today was Wednesday. I got it. It's working. Right. Okay. I don't think it's an official screen. I can start there. I don't think it's OEM because for me, looking at it, I feel like it looks dimmer than the official screen. But the price Apple was charging was like twice the price that these guys were charging. Oh. So I was like, I'm not paying that price, right? And I got the guys to go down in price because you know you haggle. Yeah. Go in a shop, you're like, mate, like, well, that's too high, mate. Someone else is offering me less. So obviously I haggled, got the price down, and so they offered me compensation. So I got the laptop today. Yeah. And you know what the compensation was? No. They're like, oh, we gave you 50% off on any accessory you want. I was like, 50% off on an accessory? I'm like. Ooh. I was like, I don't really want anything. I was like, maybe a mouse. I need a mouse for my laptop. All the mice they have are terrible. They're like lame mouse that work with like typical AA batteries, bro. I don't need AA. I want a rechargeable mouse. I was like, I'm not buying that. And here's the price: 14 quid for that mouse. 14. I can get a cheaper mouse on Amazon. 14 quid for a mouse that works with batteries. Are you mad? So I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. So I didn't get any compensation. Essentially, it was I just missed a day with my laptop. But it's in my backpack. I hope it's still working. Let me actually see.
Exactly.
Because when I came in, I went to a coffee shop on the way home and then I had some tea. And let's see if it's still working. Hopefully it hasn't died again.
Fingers crossed.
I've got a 1 year warranty on it, so it should still be working. So there it is. It's working.
Okay, good.
But this is, I believe this is, oh no, that's not maximum. So this is maximum brightness on it right now. I don't think this is what my maximum brightness used to be. I think it was more than this. Yeah, it's got to be like this is the brightness how it works. So when I go down, that's max.
Sure.
And this is minimum.
Yeah.
I find when I get to max, like as I get close to max, it doesn't seem like it's much brighter. Like I remember it being a whole lot brighter than this. Now, granted, I do think this is still a good screen because it doesn't look off. Like if you look at my background, it still looks sharp enough, but it's definitely not as good a screen as the one that came with the laptop. But all that being said, that's been nitpicking. I'm just happy to have my laptop back again. So
of course, good. Yeah.
So that's sorted. It's I've got my laptop working again, and thankfully. But yeah, generally speaking, it's just a thing whereby I had that, then I got sick, then a couple of things here and there. To be quite honest, the week has been a blur. As I say, up and down. There's just been some things. I've done some gaming. I've had other things I've been doing in between, and half of it I can't remember right now. Maybe I'll remember it later and I'll talk about it in another week. But there's so many things happened in the last week or so that is a blur to me. I can't remember half of it. So that's my week.
Especially if you've been ill. That's usually the case. Then the mind is not really connecting as usual. You're more in the mode of just trying to get better. So
that's it. So with that, let's talk about some video games, and let's talk about the title of the episode, which is is it worth playing God of War on Steam Deck? And the gameplay you see on the screen is God of War, but it's not playing on the Steam Deck. It's playing on my desktop here. This beautiful PC thing I have in front of me that you guys can't see, but Roger has seen it a million times, right? So the thing is, I've had God of War for ages on Steam, and I've not played it. Right now, I've played it on PlayStation 4. And I think I got to like the end and never finished it. It's like a bad habit of mine. I get to the end of games and then I just stop right at the end. And I'm like, I'll play the rest later. I never do. And so I literally
done that.
Yeah. It's a bad habit. So I decided I'm gonna just play some God of War for a little bit. I put it on and I'm playing it. I fell in love with it again. I'm like, oh my god, it's so much fun. Like, I love the story. And the Kratos is like, boy. And I'm like, yes, Kratos. And the music, especially the music in that game is insane. It is so good. Like when you're in that world and the music is playing and the drums are beating and everything is like your blood crawls in certain scenes. You start getting the feels, man. I'm ready to go to war with Kratos. I'm like, let's do this, and the score that they've done for that game is mind-blowingly good. Like, there's some games that are like, yeah, that's decent soundtrack, blah blah. God of War is god level. It is top tier. It is one of those games that is up there. Like when you listen to that song, that score as the game plays on, it sets the emotion in you as you're going through the game, and it is so cool. It is so cool. Grant, the other thing too is PC Master Race, baby boy. You see this? I can play with my PlayStation 5 controller, and it works perfectly fine, right?
Yeah.
The rumble feature on the play when you play it as well, because when the music is playing and the drums are beating, you feel that vibration in you. It's like and you're like, yes, that's how it should feel. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I'm running the game on Ultra. It runs smooth. There's no problems level with the game. Everything looks amazing. Can't wait to play Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. We shall see about that game because your boy, that's a Switch 2 kind of game. Not sure if the boy, the Bando of Dreams, is ready to invest in a Switch 2. We shall see. Maybe not. Level. Anyway, the point is playing God of War, loving it. Right? And then one night, I've decided, because what happens is that Alex has been sleeping in the living room, right? Her stuff is down here and all that kind of stuff. I think that's a blanket. Anyway, she's been down here sleeping in the living room this week because I've been trying to sort out Ty with bedtime stuff. So trying that with Ty because he still wheezes the bed, and I'm trying to like bedtime potty training. So I need to stay awake while I'm bedtime potty training. We bought another device that can alarm in the night, and hopefully we can help him sort it out. So I said to her, look, between her and me, I can easily go back to sleep if I need to. You can't. You need to sleep, right? And also, I can sleep at any point in time. Like I'm like a ninja. I can sleep I can sleep like 2 minutes here, 2 minutes there, boom, 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 and I'll be fine for the most part. I think that's also the reason why I fell sick, because I've not been getting proper rest. But anyway, that's the only point. I said, I'll do it for a week. Hopefully this week we'll sort it out. I know I'm going really fast right now. Some of you guys are probably struggling to keep up. But that being said, the thing is that I came downstairs one night and we did the whole potty training nighttime thing down here in the living room because I wanted to stay to play God of War. Right? The other night, Alex was like, "Oh, you're not gonna be down here?" I was like, "No, I'm going upstairs. I've got a call with my brother. We were on a call playing eFootball, and my Xbox is upstairs. And I'm not bringing it down here." So I'm up there playing Xbox with him and chatting. Right, it's kind of like our nightly therapy session. So I'm on there, we're playing some eFootball and we're chatting and having a laugh and so forth. And Alex said, "Oh, just like leave him here. I'll keep an eye on him, blah, blah, blah," and so forth. So he's with her, and then it gets late in the night and she realizes I didn't come downstairs. Right? Because she's expecting me to come back downstairs and spend another night doing God of War. She comes upstairs and she's like, "Oh, I'm so tired, babe. Like, can you like what's going on?" I was like, "I'm not done yet. I'm not coming. I didn't plan to come downstairs. That's why I said leave him up with me." She's like, "Oh, but I'm so tired." I was like, "You know what? Fine. I'll come get him." And so I take him upstairs. And she's like, "So you're not coming down to do God of War?" I was like, "No, woman, I don't need to." Right? She's like, "Okay, cool." She gets a sad face. She's like, "Oh, puppy dog eyes. I'm just, stone cold. Like, I told you so." Right? Anyway, point in case, I take my Steam Deck and I download God of War on the Steam Deck because I'm like, I do want to play God of War, but I'm not going downstairs, right? Cool. So I download the Steam Deck and I install it and I put it on the telly and I start playing, right? So first things first, I could use my PS5 controller on the Steam Deck as well. So your boy was getting perfect PlayStation 5 stuff, right? Ooh. My earbuds are in because I don't want Ty hearing the God of War stuff because, they use profanity and stuff in there. So I had that in my ears, right, while he's sleeping. And I'm God of War, man. I'm out there. I'm just ripping heads off and stuff like that. So on the Steam Deck, in television mode in the dock, I had to drop it to like all the settings to low, right? Peasant level, like a homeless person, right? With FSR2 on, because you on performance mode, not even quality, performance homeless shit. So I'm out there living that homeless gamer life. So it's my monitor in my room, the screen on the wall. It's a 4K screen, so it's pixelated. But you know what? I'm just like, I can't believe I could play this upstairs in pixels. Just I don't care anyway. So I'm playing this Etch-a-Sketch style, wipe, clean, refresh, and then what happens is the controller dies. Right? The controller dies because the controller I was using was Alex's controller. So Alex's controller is in our room. And it never charges because she never uses it. So it's dead. So I'm like, oh my God, what do I do? What do you do? What do I do? Huh? Right? So I plug the controller in. It doesn't want to take charge from the charger that's in the room that I had there. And my main charger is down here in the living room. And if I come down here, I'm going to wake Alex up. So I was like, I can't do that. I'm going to have to figure out a solution. So I plug it in to the charger for the Steam Deck. And I was like, I'll just play in handheld mode for a little bit. Bro, handheld mode on the Steam Deck for God of War is night and day compared to like dock mode. It is perfect. It looks 4K. It looks beautiful because the screen is so small. Everything looks great. It runs smooth. I'm out there just like, Kratos. I'm out. I'm loving it. Earbuds in. At first I'm like laying on the bed. My neck start hitting. I get up. I'm alive. I'm like, yes, baby boy, let's do this. There we go. It's one of those games that makes you realize just how great a Steam Deck is. And the next day, finished playing God of War on the Steam Deck, and I was like, I need to jump back on, right? Come downstairs, turn on my PC, save file is right there, everything's ready to go. Boom, bang, continue as if nothing ever changed. This is the future, people. God of War on the Steam Deck is beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. It runs smooth. Keep in mind, handheld mode. Caveat, handheld mode. Yeah. On docked mode, you do get some stutters. It doesn't look as beautiful and all that kind of blah, blah, blah. I could live with it because, I'm old school. We've played in a day when stuff wasn't just beautiful, crystal clear. But in handheld mode, you could lick that screen. Like, you see the reflections on Kratos' armor and stuff, and you're like, damn, son, that's what I like to see, Kratos. Looking great, you know? So I've got to the point where Kratos got his blades back, his blades of chaos, and I'm just like, yeah, boy. Just do it, Kratos. Just the minute I got the blades back, I was like, chop everything, Kratos.
Yeah, that's
honestly
wonderful. That's
amazing.
Great weapons. Yeah.
I love God of War again. For PC, and it is beautiful. I've got God of War Ragnarok on PlayStation 5, and maybe it might get me to turn my PS5 again on when I'm finished playing the first one on Steam, because I don't own the second game on Steam. Or maybe I'll be tempted to buy the second game on Steam to also play it in handheld mode, so I can
Exactly. Could be.
God of War is amazing. I love the story between Kratos and his son. It's so cool. Playing on the Steam Deck is absolutely amazing. I will say one other thing. It's that when you're installing the game, set it to experimental. Is it Proton experimental? Because it's the weird thing when you're downloading God of War on Steam on the Steam Deck, it doesn't start. It takes a long time to download the game, which is like it's just sort of like allocating space or some kind of crazy thing like that. But it was taking so long. I was there in the menu for like looking at the loading screen and nothing was moving. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? This is taking too long. Luckily, I Googled and there was a Steam forum and people were talking about it, and they're like, look, mate, let me tell you something, right? Let me just listen. Just go into Proton experimental, right? We don't know why it's happening. Some caveman in the development team messed something up. Just put in experimental, wait a few minutes, and it just finishes. And so obviously you listen to the thing in the forum, did that, boom, downloaded perfectly fine, switch it back from experimental back to normal, game runs smooth. So if you're gonna grab it on Steam Deck, that's one thing you're probably gonna want to do, unless you want to sit there waiting for hours trying to get it to download. So download perfectly fine, it installed perfectly fine, it looks great on my Steam Deck. You need about, I think, 60 gigs or something like that to download it, which is enough space on the Steam Deck. You should be fine. So yeah, God of War on the Steam Deck is an amazing game. Wow, you guys are watching footage of Kratos' back for a long while, because I think I started playing the game and forgot that I was playing the game for a while in the footage you guys are watching. I think I think it's one of those moments where I left the game recording and forgot. If I scroll forward, let's see. Yeah, I definitely left this game for like an hour or something, going to do something and forgot. Let me just move it forward a little bit, guys, so that you can actually have footage of me.
Meanwhile, I can just say that, well, first off, with your description, when you're talking again about God of War, because I really like those games. I also remember the old games, especially when they kind of punched out everything that was available when it comes to the PS2. I'm not sure if that was God of War 3 or God of War
3 was on PS3, 2 was PS2.
It would look so good. One of the last games actually on the PlayStation 2 before they changed. But as you say now, though, they should definitely release the first 3 God of War games on Steam. I agree. That would be like superpower.
Could you imagine? Kratos in? They should just do a definitive edition of the first 3 God of War games. And in that definitive edition, it should just release on PlayStation and Steam simultaneously, so you get both. And then obviously everyone buys on Steam because no one cares about PlayStation. But anyway, the point is you get in both places.
kind of.
You get in both places, get on Steam, jump out there, and just Kratos all the way, because like the story, because it's not just 3 God of War games. If they did a definitive edition God of War, you could fit God of War 1, 2, 3. There's another one where he fights the Fates or something, stuff like that, where it's like I can't remember the name of that one. And then there's 2 on the PSP, one where you play as his brother or something like that, and another one with something else. I think his daughter's in that other one. Whatever. The point is, you've got all those games. You can remaster all of them, put them on one disc or download or whatever have you. Kind of like what they did for Spyro, and they did one for Mass Effect. They did it for a few titles. Do that for God of War. Let people. You don't even have to like remake stuff. Just like remaster it. Just boost a few textures. Blah blah blah. Put it back. Same gameplay, same everything, and then people jump in and just do it. Just have fun with it. That would be amazing. And so for me, because we watched what I did with Alex, because she was sitting behind me while I was playing the game. I said to her, like, look, let's just watch a video so you can understand some of this stuff, right? Because I was like, you need to feel the emotion. Like when you know what Kratos has been through, you know what he has gone through. It hits harder, you know. When he's like, like there's a scene in God of War, this new one where spoilers coming up. If you don't want spoilers for this, just like skip this section and like skip ahead of like maybe about a few minutes or something like that. Anyway, point is, there's a scene where Atreus is talking to Kratos, and he's like Kratos is he's talking about, oh, you know what, there was this this god who killed his father. You know, there was a story about a son killing his father, right? Because the story was about the father hadn't corrected the son when the son was supposed to be corrected, blah blah blah. In the end, the son decided he deleted the father, and you know, Atreus is like, oh, I can't imagine, you know, a son deleting his father. Like I get angry with you sometimes, but I couldn't imagine doing that. And Kratos is like, mm-hmm. And it just, and those of us who know the original storyline of God of War, the first few games, it's like,
yeah,
you can imagine what he's like, well, I did that to my father. So it's literally that kind of moment where it's just like he's going through the motions, and then he's asking Atreus, he's like, so what do you get angry at me about? He's like, well, he's like, well, sometimes you don't think I could do things.
It's good stuff. Now the stories are great, and as Dalo is filling in, God of War Chains of Olympus.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
Those are the PSP ones.
Sparta are the two ones on the PSP. Exactly correct. Yeah.
Those are cool games.
All right.
So either way,
yeah,
that is my experience so far with God of War on the PC. It is a beautiful game on the Steam Deck. I can't say enough how much I think the Steam Deck is probably the coolest thing in gaming right now. For me, I think it is the coolest thing. The coolest thing in gaming right now is the Steam Deck. PS5 is not on my radar when it comes to like coolness. PC is a mainstay. You can't really like. It's just the king. But
yeah, it's there.
It's like, there. It's the king. It's like it's not going anywhere. It's just the god tier thing. Yeah. And then Xbox is going down. You know, I still enjoy using my Xbox, but it's going downhill because Microsoft is just focused on something else. They're not focused on the console itself. So that's just there. You know. I call it my therapy box because that's why I go to have conversation with my brothers about, you know, life and stuff. But with the Steam Deck, it is such a cool piece of tech. Like just being able to install games like God of War, like Spider-Man, like just almost anything in your library, a lot of stuff, and just jump in there and play it. Like I was playing Sleeping Dogs in it some time ago, and so good. It just feels it's given a whole new life to some games that you would have probably played a long time ago, and come back and being able to play those games in handheld because those games were never before available on handheld. You know, a game like God of War there's no other place you can play that in handheld mode. The Switch can't do that, right? Yeah. So being able to jump in and play that now on a handheld is so amazing. And don't tell me about your GPDs and all that kind of stuff. Those things are way too expensive. That's one. The average person isn't going out there and spending £700 to £800 to £900 or dollars or euros or whatever have you just to play a game in handheld. It's just not the average. I know you had one, Rog, but that was a review sample. That wasn't the one that you went out there and you just like, I need to buy this kind of thing.
No, exactly. That was a review sample. Adam had the generation after that he kept for some time, and then they're good. As you say, it's a small freaking computer, but it's too expensive. I agree with you.
It's too expensive, and I think the beauty with the Steam Deck is that, but also the downside of the Steam Deck, it's only sold on Steam, and I think that's the only thing hurting the Steam Deck. I think if you could buy a Steam Deck in Costco, Walmart, where whatever tech store you can find, if you can walk into GameStop and pick up a Steam Deck, I think one, you'd have more people having it because of the fact that you have to have Steam. It's sort of focused on a very specific market, people who already have Steam. That's literally it. You know, people who already have Steam, are PC gamers. That's the market that the Steam Deck is focused on. And maybe it's future-proofed in the sense that younger people tend to play on PC anyway, and, you know, because they're all playing Fortnite or whatever. But at the same time, younger people are probably mostly on Epic anyway. They're probably not on Steam, you know? So
yeah.
I don't know what the end goal is, but I really wish they would do a stock and send them out to stores, you know, and see how it does. Because I guarantee there are some people who would probably get one that way. Probably get it on finance as well. Probably get it through like
Sure.
you know, like your M&S or whatever have you, Marks and Spencers or whatever. Go in there, pick up one, get it on sale, and that'll be that. But who knows? Who knows how it is? But anyway, God of War Steam Deck is good.
But cool. Yeah, definitely. They're talking about the first 3 plus the 2 PSP games collection at the end of the PS3 era. It's true. They actually released those like that. Yeah. Anywho, time flies. I think we might move on a bit. I also want to talk a bit about the TV thing of side.
You're not talking about the game you've been playing?
Yeah, I will talk about gaming too, but today I'm gonna be quite short. I don't have so much like news, if that makes sense. What I can say though is that, well, first off, I got inspired by the God of War talk. I gotta say, I miss Mr. Kratos. But anywho, I talked about a game, free-to-play shooter called FragPunk not too long ago, and they released it recently. So it's out there and it's doing well. I think they have really good numbers. I think they have like 100K plus players, probably much more now. But that's not a guarantee at all. I remember the finals that is still out there. They had over 200, and it's not doing that great now, even though it's a pretty good game. So it's tough times. I just saw also when it comes to free-to-play games or free-to-play shooters, a tactical shooter that is. The game that Shroud was, involved in, it's actually closing down. That is called Spectre Divide. It was released only 6 months ago. So you see, it's hard. It's hard to establish new games, and this is definitely. It's going to be interesting to see how they manage to do when it comes to FragPunk. There are things, as I said, I made a video about it. They have a very heavy monetization. It's 9 different kind of monetization stuff in the game, like currencies, and it's I don't know. Maybe they're more used to that in certain areas in Asia. I don't know if that's the case, but for us, it's like whoa,
too much.
But the game it has something. It's quite okay. I don't play it like on a regular basis, but it happens. But I think, as I say in at least in my kind of review, that I do think they're better off, kind of putting focus on the casual side of the game. Due to its nature, like the very colorful cyberpunkish style and characters and abilities. So let's see if they do that. I don't know what kind of ambitions they have with the competitive side. The problem is it doesn't perform that like on the level of, let's say, Counter-Strike. So I don't know really how that will play out. But yeah, I play that. I also just want to, before we leave the gaming section, because I don't want to stay too long in this now, but I also want to give a shout out to the game I mentioned before, which is a completely different game, adventurous RPG game that is called Banishers: Ghosts of New Eden, that I've continued to play in my streams once in a while. I streamed it yesterday again, and it's a good game. It's a good game. Really good looking game also, since it's Unreal Engine 5 and well optimized. So that's something for you guys that you might want to check out if you want like a title that is not. It came out last year. It's not really that, how do you say, well known, but it was a game that was gifted to me, and it's fun. It's sometimes also fun to play something completely different from what you usually do. So. But again, FragPunk, the focus for me has been like, when you've been around for quite some time, you've seen games come and go. You're always like, okay, I see this is good. I see this. Maybe they should do something. One thing that might be on the bad side of things for them is that they didn't have a console version ready at launch, and they haven't announced yet. They've said maybe before summer. Maybe, but we know how things works now. It's a very short concentration span of some guys, and they will just move on to other stuff, and it will kind of be forgotten by some if you don't have also like the console part ready to like, because the thought is of course to have crossplay eventually. So we'll see. Yeah, it's those kind of times. So.
I'll be honest. I think any game releasing today that's multiplayer should release it with crossplay already, because it's one of those things that you lose people by not having it, because when I think about, like, for example, when we spoke about Monster Hunter last week, and the fact that, well, not last week but the week before, and like being able to jump in to play Monster Hunter with my friends on PlayStation and Xbox and everywhere in the same space, and me playing on the PC is mind blowing. Like that's the stuff. Because sometimes, let's say I want to jump in to a game, like, and in the case, like with me as a gamer that has pretty much every platform. Yes, I could technically jump on a platform that someone else has and just play that, but at the same time, it would be nice to just be able to just like play with some friends that happen to be that don't have that luxury, that can't just jump on any other platform. You know, like my brothers, they all have Xboxes. You know, so for me to play with them, I have to play an Xbox. Whether or not I think my PS5 has a better controller, or I like playing on my PC more because I've got more options and more, you know, it looks better for the most part. I don't play on my PC as much as I probably would, because when I'm playing with my brothers, they're on Xbox, so I have to play on what they're on. Whereas if games have crossplay, I don't have to do that. I could just jump on the platform I prefer and play with them.
Yeah. No, but I totally agree with you. I think, I mean, I've seen it with some other games also. They do get a hard time, because usually the first couple of months after release is really, really so important. They can be actually crucial for the game.
Yeah.
So if you don't have that like roadmap ready and are ready to kick off with some good like you know, content and everything, but also, as you say, have crossplay in place, then, well, I mean, it can still go well, but it kind of diminishes the chances to establish a healthy, wealthy, whatever player base already within the first couple of weeks. So, because what will happen with any game, even if it's like a really good game, is that when it comes to online multiplayer games, you will lose players. There will always be some kind of boost. There are a few exceptions, but most games tend to, you know, like 3-4 months, you will lose some players, and then what's left is hopefully what you can build on when it comes to being like a core community. So, yeah, let's see. I hope they get out the console version very soon when it comes to FragPunk, if they want to, you know, have good numbers in the future, the longevity of the game. So, well, that's basically it.
Okay, so you talking about some Tele, shall we?
Tele.
I have
you been watching?
I have been watching something. Not alone. Alex and I have been watching a series together, and we finished it. And that, which is rare. We have not finished a series together in a while. And that was Drive to Survive, the latest season.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we watched the latest season of Drive to Survive together, and we enjoyed it. I totally did. It was a nice lead up towards the new F1 season starting.
So nice to hear that, because we have I got to get in here. We have actually started, me, Anna, and Isaac, to watch it, like the new season. Yeah, of course.
It's so good. Like sitting
on
watching.
Good. Yeah, it's entertaining.
It is entertaining. Sitting and watching with Alex is like, you know, like the certain races that she started to resonate with. She's like, oh, I like this driver, and she felt like she's a Carlos Sainz girl. She likes Carlos Sainz. She's like, oh, I'm so I want him to pick a good team, and she's got so invested in the choices that they were making and all this sort of stuff, you know. And you know, for me, it's the same. I have my favorites on the grid. You know, I like Lando. Lando Pando. Yeah. Lando's my guy. I like Lewis.
Yeah, he's cool.
Lando's cool. I like Lewis. I don't like George Russell. In this house, we are no George Russell in house. We don't like George, you know, so we don't like him. You know, we have a saying, you know, we think he's a twat, but you know, that's just we all think George is a twat. You know, similar for Max. The only difference between Max, I think Max is a really good driver. I respect his driving, but I think Max is an a-hole. Like, he's just mean.
He can.
He's rude.
He can definitely be that very often.
He is.
Yes, I also have a bit of a thorn.
He's not my guy.
Think about Hamilton. Mm-hmm. I mean, the guy is very humble.
That's the thing. He's so nice.
He knows his value, of course he does, but he doesn't have to really. He's very sportsmanship kind of guy.
Yeah.
Out through the fingers, and I kind of like a bit of a brawl too, an attitude. I don't mind that, but Verstappen can sometimes be very, almost rude.
He is.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think it goes a bit for Red Bull. I think also Christian,
he is Christian Horner. He's the team manager. he's when we watch. I remember Alice and I got into an argument about Christian Horner. Like when they went to the episode about him having. There's something about what was it again? Like there was something with a female worker or something like that, and it was at the beginning of last season. When we were watching that episode, I remember we paused the episode to have a debate about it, right? Like our opinions
right.
And Alex and I had a go at each other. Like it wasn't. We weren't angry at each other. Just keep that in mind. We just had a back and forth about like positions on this sort of thing. Like, but I think we have to consider this side of the angle. And she's like, no, but what about this? And we're just going back and forth. And at one point it was just like, oh, like I don't think I could watch anymore right now. She's like, no, put it back on. Put it back on. Let's watch it. I was like, no, because you're gonna bring up another point. She's like, no, put it back on. I was like, all right, fine, I'll put it back on. And then she's like, but you know the thing is, I was like, you see, like, this is exactly it. So, generally, I do think it's a culture at their team. I think it genuinely, because when they look like, again, I don't want to spoil anything for this new season, but who they picked for their second driver for next season, I didn't agree with their second driver, right? The thing with Max though, I will say, and this is the thing where we're all humans at the end of the day. Despite the fact I think Max is mean and all this sort of stuff, I think he's a great driver, number one. And
Absolutely.
if you watch,
he's very competent.
He's very competent. And if you watch videos of him with his daughter, he's actually quite sweet with her. Like because he does live streams. He's like a cool dad. His daughter comes in and she's like trying to get his attention, and he's like, oh, he's so calm and chill with her. But then you see him on the grid and he's just like, I'm not here to make friends. And he's just like,
Exactly. But again, there are different personalities, and that goes in different sports as well. Some guys, like ice hockey players or whatever have you, can be like the same. Very like competitive and rude, if you will, but super cool guys. It really depends on. But again, like there we have it, the personalities. Hamilton, as said, he's very humble. He's very he's very soft. He's very sweet, if you will. For me, George, if you talk about you were shocked that he had a girlfriend, right? You saying, or really? Maybe only for the money. Nah, I think he's a nice guy. He's a nice guy, but he's a bit dry. He's very.
I don't even think George is a nice guy. I think George. My thing with George is. So when you look at George in interviews, George does not come across genuine to me. I find he seems like he's putting on a show, because the thing is that there have been races like back when Mercedes, there have been chances when Mercedes had to help Lewis win his final championship to get that 8 or whatever that he's trying to break the record for, and there have been races where it's like George could let him through, and the team is like, George, let him through, and George's like, nah, I ain't doing that. I'm racing this man. And literally the last race Lewis did for Mercedes, Toto had to say, when the fact that Toto had to say it on the comms where he was like, George, like Lewis is moving faster, like be fair to him, like don't do a George move, don't like crash into him or something, trying to like prevent him from passing you or something, which is something that George has done before. And Lewis getting to do that and go past George and everything like that is great, because if your teammate is going faster than you, let him through. Like, why are you fighting your teammate if he's moving faster? That makes no sense. Granted, do I think George is a good driver? I do think he's a good driver. I just don't think...
Yeah, he is.
I don't think George is... I don't like George. I think he's a twat. But if I had to pick my favorite drivers on the grid, my favorite drivers are Lando, Alex Albon. I think Alex is super cool. I like Alex. I think Alex is cool. So Lando, Alex, Yuki, obviously Lewis, right? Carlos is a 50-50 for me. It's like I don't hate Carlos or I don't like Carlos. Carlos is just kind of like Carlos. I like Charles Leclerc. He's another competitive driver, but Charles is nice. He's a nice guy. And there's an episode in Drive to Survive this season about Charles that brings you emotion. Like for me, I felt emotional watching the episode about Charles, where he's talking about his dad and stuff like that. That made me emotional. So I like Charles. Charles is my guy. I think he's cool. I like Kimi Antonelli. I think Kimi is cool.
Yeah, okay.
Kimi,
sure.
I like seeing him in interviews. I think he's a kid. He's a kid. So
yeah,
Kimi's cool. I think a lot of the drivers on the grid I like. The drivers I don't like,
same.
The drivers that I would say I don't like, and it's purely just personality. I think most of them are just really good drivers, and I respect them for that.
Yeah, that's the reason they are there.
It's exactly. It is a reason. The drivers I don't like on the grid, personality wise, like I can see myself having a beer with them, is George. I couldn't see myself having a beer with George. I think he's fake, and I couldn't do it with Max, except maybe if he's with his daughter, because I feel like he'll be nice. I feel he'd be nice if his daughter's there. He'd be like, oh man, it's so cool. But that being said, everyone else on the grid, I think I'm not too, either I'm impartial or I like them a lot, so Drive to Survive this season is going good. If you have not seen it, go watch it. It will get you into Formula One. I would say don't even start with the first seasons, because it's too far back and you'll be disconnected. Start with this season, and then if you want, you can go back and watch from season 1, right? So yeah, it's Formula One Drive to Survive. Yeah, that's the one. So go back, just watch this season's Drive to Survive, which prepares you for the current season of Formula One that's going on right now. And the season started, and I watched it on Sunday night. We were up at 4 a.m. because of time zones and stuff like that. Me and my brother were up watching the Formula One, and I'm like,
oh, you did?
Yeah, I was like half asleep, and I'm like watching the Formula One, and it was a race. I just want to say, Ferrari, fire your team captain and get someone good. That's all I can, because I don't believe in your calls. Those calls with that rain thing, like, come on, man. Both the drivers were like, I think we should switch. Everyone else is switching. They're like, no, stay out there, mate. Stay out. You can do this. Granted, I do believe that Lewis and Charles, being as good as they are, behind a yellow safety car, should be able to hold position, because no one can overtake behind a yellow safety car. But the fact of the matter, they didn't. They didn't hold. They weren't able to thing, and they went in late, and then that hurt their position, because they could have finished in pole. Like, they were both on.
Yeah. I know.
I was like, no, it would have been perfect.
It was interesting though with that race. I saw like not the whole race, but I what is it called? Like the
highlights
version of it. Yeah, highlights. And Adam is interested, as you know. He wasn't up though in the early morning. He waited also, but he watched the whole race. But it was bad weather, and a lot of things happened. And I knew, of course, this is also something that happens. The step from going from Formula 2 into like Formula 1, or even Formula 3, 2, and into Formula 1 is quite big. So many of the rookies, of course, they crashed immediately.
Kimi, there's so many that never crashed. But Kimi, guy.
That's very common.
Kimi was so on it. I rate Kimi. Again, the way he's, honestly, Antonelli is the next big thing in Formula 1. I could see that kid winning a driver's. I think he's better than George. I think give Kimi some time. I think he's gonna be. I think he's like Max. I think he's just quick, and he just makes the right decision almost every single time. He had one spin out on the track and still had the form. I don't know what Mercedes has done with their new car, but that car seems really competitive this season. We'll see. It changes throughout the season, but that new car is competitive. Kimi was just overtaking veterans, like guys who've been there for ages. Kimi was just like, this is how I imagine Kimi in the car as he's going past people. That's because it looked effortless. Like, he looked effortless, and finishing in, I think, was he like top 4 or something? I think he was top 4.
Could have been so, right?
Yeah, I think he was 4th. I think he was 4th. George was 3rd. No, George. Yeah, George was 3rd. Which I don't like when George wins. Whenever I see George win or does well, whenever he makes podium, I'm just like, I don't like you, George.
But again, it seems as if, but the Mercedes seems to have a pretty stable car already. Yeah. McLaren, good car. They had it last season too. I'm always happy. I mean, as you said, Lando Norris, cool. I like also Oscar Piastri is a really good driver.
Really? My brother is a fan of Oscar as well. I am not. I think Lando is better than Oscar, but some people will disagree. My brother thinks Oscar is better.
Yeah. No, wait, hold on. Yeah, it depends on. They are quite different when it comes to their way of driving. But Oscar is Yeah, he's a very good driver. I mean, they're both very
They're
good.
all good
I mean, we're
drivers.
talking about elite here, so
Yes.
it's up between different days or weeks. But Oscar has a very good kind of, how do you say, sustainability. He's like he can keep himself at a very high level for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
Overtake cars like one by. I don't know. There's something about it that is quite interesting as a driver. But yeah, I'm just since we also have to move on, but this is interesting, of course, getting into the discussion on F1. It is interesting where all these drivers, the characters, what's happening off pit and on the side, and who's gonna go there, or he's a free agent more or less now, and where will he end up? It's like it's a circus. That's
It
definitely what it
is.
is. It's kind of insane if you think about it. I think it's kind of interesting, as I said to Alan, especially in times like this when you talk about economy, you talk about environment and everything, and then you have this moving around half the planet or more, and the big setup and all the people involved.
Mm.
It's kind of funny. I have to mention a small thing when it comes to Tele that has to do with this. There was actually F1 races in Sweden in the
Mm.
mid of the 70s, due to, for example, Ronnie Pettersson, who was a very big name in the sports at that point in time, Swedish driver. Unfortunately, he died at the Monza crash.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, I still see those pictures in front of me. Since the cars back then were more likely to go up in flames if they
Mm-hmm.
were hit by something because the tank was under their seat, whatever
Yeah.
have you. It's kind of weird. But yeah, so there was this documentary in Swedish television
Mm-hmm.
that me and Anneli watched. You know how it was back then. There was this guy, this Swedish small society,
Mm-hmm.
like mid part of Sweden. He was always like a cigar. Well, yeah, a visionary. Like, yeah, we'd like to. I like motorsports. What if we could get F1 to Sweden? And everyone was like, no, you can't do that. But the man managed to find money to build a racing track in the middle of freaking
Wow.
nowhere. And they started to do race competition. And he went down and met with like the, what was his name? The big guy in the whole F1 circus in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, tough negotiations, whatever have you. He went out for it sometime, this guy. I can't remember his name. But the guy, the Swedish guy with the cigar, he just said, he's going to come back. 5 minutes later, he comes back. Okay, let's do it. Shook hands, and they start to have F1 competition in this small little place. Yeah. It was really a beautiful documentary, by the way. So that I've been watching too. But yeah,
I watched a few F1 documentaries as well, so I know what you're talking about. It's good stuff.
yeah. This it was beautiful to see, like all the people getting engaged, and they parked their car. There was parking lots, but it was so hard to the logistics of things. I mean, there wasn't hotels enough to fit all the for the drivers and all the crew. So what he did there's also an entrepreneur not too far away from there. This is a bit more south part of Sweden. I was talking about the mid. That's not true. It's more south. But anywho, he was also a visionary. He built a place because he was like grew up, cowboys and Indians. I want to have that kind of place. He had a lot of money. So he built one called High Chaparral, of course.
Ooh.
So we were there with Isaac and Adam when they were kids. Anyhow, so they have like rooms and hotel, if you will, with the Western theme. So he stored all the drivers was taken there, so they stayed there. It was like, oh my God. Yeah, but he got it going for quite a few years. But then, of course, economy, it's hard to keep up the momentum with a small like organization, if you will. But credit to him. That was freaking really well done, I gotta say. So,
Definitely.
yeah.
Definitely. Wow. Well, you know what? It's cool. It's cool. It's a cool sport.
It is for sure. As I said, it's very spectacular. I mean, it's built on the individual, definitely. Like big names as stars, as you might find in other sports, like big tennis star, like Federer or whatever have you. But at the same time, it's so special because it's so extreme. You drive these extreme cars in these extreme, like the speeds, and it's very special. It's
It is definitely very special indeed, and I like we've discussed so far. You know, the characters involved in this. You know, the drivers, just the personalities involved really makes it. It really makes the enjoyment of F1 fun. You know,
it is. I'm looking forward to watch more episodes. I'm gonna see after maybe the podcast.
Definitely, if you get a chance, definitely hop on.
Yeah, but I promise. The problem is the logistics here, though. We are three that gonna watch together. We don't want to how it is. Let's watch another episode. Well, I watched one by myself last night. We don't want to get into that situation.
Don't do it. Yeah, you got to get it on board. Everyone's got to be locked in and so forth.
But we got to move on. Time flies.
We do have to go on indeed. Definitely. We didn't give a rating. It's an 8.5 on IMDb.
Oh yeah.
Guess my rating.
10.
10. 10, of course, obviously. It's a 10. It's a 10 out of 10, baby. That's what we like to see. F1 Drive to Survive is a 10, and it's essentially an F1 reality show. That's basically the best way to describe it. It is an F1 related reality show. It gets you invested in the drivers, and then you go and you watch the races on the weekend and you enjoy it. That's the best I can give you. So
absolutely.
Yeah,
it's true.
So, Rog, shall we move on?
Yeah, we shall move on. We're over time, but at the same time, we're kind of catching up here because we weren't here last week, so it's perfectly fine. I was so happy when I saw that Reacher was coming back with a new season 3. I've talked about Reacher before. I think this is one of the better series I've seen for ages. It's like, when you have certain series that stay in your top 5 list for years. This is definitely one of them. I really like Reacher. I think I've said it before. As you may know, it's based on the novels by Lee Child. And Reacher is this former military policeman, Jack Reacher. He solves crimes and metes out his own brand of street justice. He's a very special character. And I think that Alan Richardson is doing a great job as Reacher. Very, well built. He's got good charisma for it. And the new season has not made me disappointed so far. It's an 8.0 on IMDb, easy 8.0. I would most likely put it even higher. It's just really, really well put together action, crime, drama, thriller, entertainment. It's interesting that I even call it one-person army action. In some ways, it is. He's like a tank when he wants to. So. Reacher is great novel, right? Yeah. So if you guys want something like quality, yes, go on to Amazon Prime and watch Reacher from I said it's 3 seasons, 2 full seasons out, and they have 4 or 5 episodes out when it comes 5, I think, when it comes to season 3. Yeah, it comes out a new episode on it's Thursdays, so it's gonna be tomorrow evening. Good for me. Yeah. This is a favorite of mine. Really good.
I think I'll inevitably get into it because you talk about it so much. It's in my watch list already. I just haven't sat down to watch it. So
yeah, one-man army. Exactly. Yeah.
At some point, I'm gonna be watching Reacher as well.
Do that. I think you will enjoy it. It's good. It's really good.
Yeah.
Also,
I'm ready.
Good characters. It's quality. It's just very good. Yep.
I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. I think we've got a podcast, don't we?
Yeah, we have. Yeah, we got it. I think we'll be covering everything. Also, hope you're gonna have fun playing Xenoblade Chronicles.
When is that out anyway? Xenoblade Chronicles X, is that out yet?
It's X, yeah. Nah.
I'm just gonna go.
Released? Yeah, you can fill in there. But anywho, I gonna. Meanwhile, we're doing this. Yeah, I remember you mentioned it times in the past. I have when it comes to Mr. Reacher. But salute to you. Thank you for being here. Your support means a lot, and I hope you enjoyed. I hope we'll meet up in a week from now definitely. Same place, same time, same channel, same everything.
Mm-hmm.
So bring your best mood and come over next week as well, and we will chat a bit. Meanwhile, during the time we not doing that, I hope you're gonna enjoy the tips we have given you when it comes to good gaming, and also some beautiful series that you might want to watch or in movies. So with that said, not Auf Wiedersehen, but Muffin and out.
Beautiful as always. So with that, guys, as always, you can find Rog at 40 Splish Splash. That's number 40 with SPLISH. He streams on a Tuesday and a Sunday. That's correct.
Correcto.
Except when he's sick. When he's sick, he can't stream, obviously. You can find me at LP Garden. That's LPGRDIN, Garden.eu, pretty much everywhere else. And as always, you can find us Simply Binge or at Simply Binge UK. And yeah, as always, we wouldn't like you guys to miss out on any of the episodes of That Beautiful Life podcast. Many beautiful people like you subscribe to this podcast on Castbox, Acast, Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, simplybinge.com, and elsewhere. And what's the confident that you're going to like it, I will give them for free. So, as always, guys, this has been Q. For your pleasure. It's a wrap. That is the episode of Rap. Internet high five. Yeah. So, we're going to get out of here. Rog, I just want to just point on one thing going into this new F1 season. To keep your eye out for Flavio. All right, when Flavio comes in, just saying. Anyone else who's watching F1 Drive to Survive, when Flavio comes in this season, if Flavio is not your guy, I don't know what's wrong with you. But anyway, that being said,
I will.
He's the kind of bad guy you want to like, not like Matt.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But, yeah, that's it. So we should get out of here. Yeah, I need the loo badly. So yeah.
Okay.